Hey, friends, Victor Pisano with Charge Up. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Building the Champion's Mindset. Each week, we work hard to create a program where we bring somebody on who can assist you and be a resource for you in building your champion's mindset. And today is going to be exciting, no different than any other, where we have somebody who can provide you with a lesson to walk away from, a lesson of perseverance, a lesson of passion, and more importantly, a lesson of gratitude. So with that, I received a phone call late last week from my friend Damon West. You know him as the best-selling author of The Change Agent, as well as a co-author with John Gordon of The Coffee Bean. He sent me a note. He was telling me about this guy named Aaron Golub. He said, Victor, you've got to get in touch with him. Well, if Damon's telling me that, who has an incredible story of his own, I absolutely am going to jump at the opportunity. So I sent an email to Aaron. He immediately responded in 4 days to where we are today. I talk all the time about perspective, specifically the control that we have in how we perceive situations and the control we have in acting upon those situations. How can you take an obstacle and turn it into an opportunity? You see, Aaron's story is all about perspective and how he chose to take complete control of his life and live out his dreams one day at a time, being present in the moment and appreciating everything around him. And in turn, it became contagious. Friends, coaches, family, they all fed off of his enthusiasm and his passion. He grew up in Newton, Massachusetts, started playing football in the 7th grade. As a result of his hard work and attention to his craft, Aaron was recruited to play at Tulane University as a deep snapper. Exciting opportunity for him, but he didn't go there just to be on the team. He went to be a starter. He worked hard. He focused on his academics. He made the most out of the experience. He even became a team captain his senior year. Here's the story. Here's the lesson. Here's the beauty in what Aaron provides us today. He also managed to make history while at Tulane University by being the first legally blind athlete to play Division I football. His stories of perseverance and perspective. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thanks so much for having me here today, Victor. I'm super excited to get to do this during my busy week, busy day. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You were so kind in moving things around on your schedule. Things are going great for you in motivational speaking, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it's something that I started. We launched my website with my, someone I got connected to probably January and have become pretty close friends with at this point. But we really launched it 6 months ago, and it's really started to pick up since. Been on a ton of podcasts, spoken, obviously through Zoom right now to a ton of teams, organizations, companies, and it's so much fun. It's something that I can't wait to really, once this is over, start developing it even more into a career and speaking at events and in front of people.
Yeah, I can tell you there's nothing like being in a room and feeling other people's energy as opposed to Zoom. The Zoom thing's driving me crazy just because, you can't reach out and touch and shake hands and get to know people. That's the difficult part. But I'm good with it. At least I'm still, able to connect with people and learn. As long as I can learn from others, I'm in good shape.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to ask you a difficult question. October the 3rd, 2015. Your name is called out to snap for an extra point attempt. That one moment, you're stepping out on the field to execute a play. That one play would make history because you would become the first legally blind athlete to ever play in an NCAA football game.
Preston had about a half a step on the defender, and he made good on it.
Well, we like those kind of reviews.
Yeah.
P.A.T. Duraco, up and good.
Can you describe your feelings in one word of how it felt walking off that field after the play was executed?
I think I'm going to give you 2 words. And
Deal.
Those 2 words are adrenaline and relaxing. And I know those are complete opposites of one another. And so the reason for that is going onto the field, getting that call, I had that instant of adrenaline, that rush of adrenaline, because I was so excited to get to go play for the first time. But I had so much adrenaline that, of course, you start to get nervous. You start to overthink things. So I immediately had to get myself into the mindset of relaxing, take a few deep breaths and realize I've done this thousands of times. I need to relax. I need to calm down and just do what I do every single day in practice and not let this adrenaline take over me. So I think it's a combination of those 2 words.
Is it a moment you will never forget? I mean, I can imagine in a football huddle, everybody is so close right there next to you. Tell me everybody to your left and right wasn't so excited.
No, everyone was thrilled. And I think the thing that I really appreciated most is it wasn't a planned out thing. I mean, my coach, first off, the coach who gave me that opportunity at first was Coach CJ, Coach Curtis Johnson. I'm so thankful he gave me that opportunity. But he didn't tell the other team. He didn't tell the refs that, I'm legally blind, that I have a disability. No one told anyone. I went in there and I got blown up by the nose guard. And I loved that because it's not like I was going in a game because someone had sympathy for me. I got to play football. No one knew I was going in, and they treated me like the same, as the other long snapper that was playing before me.
That's amazing. And you used the word family when you described Tulane football. And it is true. Those are your brothers in arms right there. And to celebrate something that is such an amazing accomplishment, but yet your humility is inspiring in and of itself. I can only imagine that day literally became the start to something. It wasn't as if you had one snap. That's a testament to your perseverance. And, I know there was a change of coaches. You still worked hard, focused on your craft, did your job, and were able to transition to the next coach. No different, working just as hard. But I loved in an interview where they were talking to you and you said, I'm here to play. Like, my job is to start, and that's what I'm going to work on while I'm here.
Yeah, no, thank you. And going back on that comment of the coaches changing, I mean, at first when Coach Fritz came, I was worried, he was worried. We didn't know the situation. He knew my story, but he didn't know a ton about it. And I think that he and I both had concerns at first, and we just said, let's take it one day at a time. Let's do spring ball and see what happens. And I'm so thankful because he is a great mentor to me as of today. I mean, I still talk to him. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago just to get his advice on speaking because he's had that environment and been around lots of successful people. And that's something I try and do. I try to surround myself with people who have achieved much higher goals than I have. And he's one of those people. And he's someone who I talk to regularly still because I want to learn from him. I want to learn from the people around me. And he's done such a great job of turning around the program, but not just in a football aspect, changing the mindset and helping the student athletes and turning these boys that come in at 18 into men and people who can respect them, people who are on the right path for once they graduate.
There's a beauty to coaching because I believe a coach is chosen. They have a calling to serve. And those coaches, the difference between a good coach and a great coach always comes back to their ability to connect with players. And I think you described one right there. You're 5 years removed from that first snap, but yet it probably still feels like yesterday. Your team is still your family, and you still have a bond with a coach. That's all connection, and that goes back to the calling to serve. So let me ask you, at what point did you take complete control of the challenge? And I use the word challenge instead of disability because I think you've proven the word disability wrong a long time ago. I'll use the word challenge instead. At what point did you take the challenge placed in front of you with your blindness and turn that obstacle into an opportunity?
So I think there's a few steps in the process. And so going into 7th grade, I decided I wanted to play football. But I don't think that was really taking control of it. That was saying, I want to play football. I want to see what happens. And, that was great. I think probably the biggest transformation was the difference between me at the end of my sophomore year in high school playing football to the start of my junior year season. That's because at the end of sophomore year, I said to myself, I'm not really playing. I sometimes play at the end of the game when we're up big or down big, but that's playing because a coach is sympathetic for you. That's not playing because you're good at the sport. And so what I did is I accepted the fact that I am legally blind, that I have this obstacle, and I adapted to it. And I said, what can I do to play in college also? I found long snapping, and I said, if I get good enough, then maybe I can play. So I started practicing every day. And then over that summer, between sophomore and junior year, I went to a camp to get instruction and to get ranked nationally. And at that camp, I thought I was going to be amazing. I thought I was so confident. And I was terrible. There's a YouTube video of me today where the ball flies over the punter's head, and I was ranked horribly. I was not a good snapper. And then right after that camp, something clicked, and I said to myself, I need to work 10 times as hard to be as good as these other guys. And so what I started to do is I would wake up every single day at 5 in the morning. I would go to school and I would practice for an hour and a half before school. And then I would lift weights, whether it was in season after practice or out of season, just after school, every single day, because I had to put in more time and more effort than anyone else around me just to be as good as them. And I did that consistently every single day. And that compounding effect allowed me not only to be just as good as other long snappers, but to be better than them in the long run.
That's amazing. So it was actually a process. It wasn't necessarily a particular moment you're pointing to.
Absolutely.
Let's go back to that point. Then you earn the opportunity to play at Tulane. 2015, walk on that field, you have your first snap. You end your career at Tulane as a team captain. Today, if you could go back and just reflect upon your experiences in both high school and college, what lessons did you learn there that have made you the man you are today?
I think I learned the value of hard work and putting in the time that others are not willing to put in. I mean, the fact of the matter is I've failed at things more times than most people in this world have failed at things. The difference is every single time I fail, I keep getting back up again and again and again. And you're not going to succeed the first time, the 10th time, or the 100th time you try something. But the 1,000th or the 10,000th time, you will succeed eventually if you keep trying and keep pushing yourself. And that's something that I learned throughout my journey and continue to do today. I mean, every single day there's something that I struggle with or some new task ahead of me. And I know I'm going to fail at it the first time and the second and the third. But I know the 1,000th time I do it, I will succeed at it. And I'll have learned so much from the first 999 times that I'll have an even greater impact and a greater result on what I'm doing than I would have if I succeeded the first time.
Was it a difficult process to have those around you not expect a liability, not expect a disability, but rather to be treated the same, have the same expectations, to be equal? Did it take time to convince people that you were perseverant, you had grit, and you had fight, no different? And like you made an incredible point, you had to fail a little more than the other person. But was there a point finally where people were able to realize, like, this guy is going to work harder than me every day, so I have to keep up?
I mean, I don't think there was a point necessarily. I think so. I guess to answer that in two parts, in high school, I think a lot of people didn't think I was going to play in college, and that's okay. That's, I wasn't a good football player. I thought I was going to play in college. No, most people didn't think I was going to do that. I think the turning point was when I got an offer from Tulane. People realized, wow, I am good. But I think the biggest difference is when I got to college, it was more about putting in that work and earning the respect and the trust of my teammates and coaches. And I don't think they thought any less of me or thought of me not as an equal because they saw what I was putting in. It was very evident that I was going to watch more film, put in more time in the weight room, practice long snapping extra hours in the day. And that made itself known so quickly that there was no thought that I wasn't going to put in that work. The coaches from a very early standpoint knew that I was going to work hard because I showed them. I didn't just say I was going to.
One thing I found amazing was your physician who created the Golub goggles to let your teammates and coaches actually see what you see. What an incredible idea for a physician, and what a great way for you to share the challenge you face through humility. But the second part of it is my favorite, watching them put it on and try their position. Is it, I wish I could find the word. Is it humbling to have that tool to show people? And that way they don't take your word for it. They can actually experience it.
I think it's just a fun thing to do in the sense that, I would have teammates that would love to put it on and see if they could catch a football or, walk around the locker room. And it was just really interesting to see other people do it because they would, the ball would hit them in the face or they would walk into a wall. And it's just like, those are things that will happen to me. I always loved to just push myself and see what I could do. We would, as specialists, as kickers, punters, and long snappers, we often would be practicing on our side field, practicing field goals because we couldn't kick over the rest of the team. And they're saying that there's only so much kicking and snapping you can do. It's not, if you snap 100 times, you kick 100 balls, you really shouldn't keep going because you're going to wear yourself out. It's different than some other positions. And so, we would just do other things on the field as well. And one of the things we would do is just play catch or whatever. And so I would love trying to, run routes and see if I could catch, or throw to someone who was running a route. And yeah, I would get hit in the helmet sometimes, or I wouldn't come anywhere near it, but it was just fun to do it. And then seeing other people do that in their experiences, it's just a lot of fun.
On the Building the Champions Mindset series, we've created this specifically for high school and college student athletes. And one of the areas that they continue to request feedback from, and that's from athletes who have succeeded at the higher levels. And so I want to pose the question to you that they ask: what did you do to train your mind to eliminate fear and doubt at the college level and the transition from high school to college?
I think the biggest thing is just accepting my circumstance and pushing for it and pushing through. And so the thing that I think of in my mindset is that things in life happen for you and not to you. And that being said, if you think of things happening to you, you're thinking of things as a victim. You've already lost the battle before it started because you don't believe in yourself. And so I have this belief that I was born legally blind for a reason. It happened for me. And that reason is because I wouldn't have been born with that disability if I couldn't overcome it, if I couldn't use it to make change and pave the way for others in athletics and in life behind me. I wouldn't be legally blind. And so in my opinion, it's a blessing and not a curse. And if you think of things happening for you instead of to you, your mindset will change completely and you'll be in a better stage to accomplish your goals and your dreams.
Incredible answer, Aaron. Absolutely incredible perspective. Was there anybody in particular who inspired you?
Yeah, so I think my biggest mentor is one of my friend's parents. His name is Steve Burton. And so his father played for the Patriots. He played in college. His son now is a quarterback in college. And my dad came to school with me every morning at 5 a.m. to snap with me, but he would never push me to do it. That was all me. And so this guy, Steve, was always there. There were 4 people in the gym, or actually 6. It was me and my dad, Steve and his son practicing quarterback, throwing the ball, running routes, and then Steve's wife and their daughter practicing basketball. She now plays in college as well. And so it was the 6 of us every single morning, and he was the one who would just push me to get better. If I had a bad snap, he would tell me to go do push-ups. He would instill that mindset in me to be a better person every single thing I did. And I still talk to him, on a weekly basis because he's had such an impact on my life. He's
got to be tremendously proud of what you've achieved.
Absolutely.
So let's transition into today. You have a professional career, and now, as you mentioned, you are moving into motivational speaking. I think it is absolutely perfect. You are somebody who is leaving an impression on people very quickly. Are you enjoying it? And tell me what your message is when you do have the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, honestly, I love it. And, here's the thing. I enjoy my career, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm so looking forward to, these are all steps in the process of turning speaking into a career of its own. And something that, down the line, I'll make money doing it. But the point of doing it now is to create an impact in other people's lives. And so I love doing it. It's so much fun. I have a lot of adrenaline when I get to speak to groups and impact other people's lives and hear the questions that they have for me. And it's been so much fun and a great process so far, and I can't wait to continue to do that down the road.
What's been your messages to businesses or athletes?
So I think there's 2 messages, and the first one is that fact that I said of thinking things happening for you and not to you, and that's a big one, because if you can change your mindset, then you can accomplish anything. If you're stuck in a bad mindset, you're going to have issues, you're going to have doubts, you're going to have worries. And the second part is putting specific things into action. And so those things for me are planning, passion, and perseverance. And so I think everything I do, I have a plan, and then I go out and attack that plan. But every task I take on, I'm passionate about it, because if you are truly passionate about your goal or your dream, you can really accomplish anything. It doesn't matter what stands in your way. And the last one is perseverance. There are going to be obstacles. There will be roadblocks and challenges, but if you can persevere, if you can push through just a little bit longer than the person next to you, you can come out the other side at the end of that tunnel and see success because of what you've done.
That's amazing. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, so I think 2 places. The first one is my website, aarongolub.com. And on there you can read about my story, see, a few interviews that I have up there, and you can contact me in there. We'll send to my email. The other places on my Instagram is where I put out a lot of content, motivational speaking, pictures, and I talk about different challenges. It's at Aaron J. Golub. And you can send me a direct message there if you want to get in touch with me. I'm happy to chat, happy to help any way I can, and would love to connect with whoever.
Aaron, I want to sincerely thank you for giving me the greatest gift that anybody can ever give, and that's their time. I'm fortunate. Like right now, I want to pick up the phone and call Damon and say thank you so much. But at the same time, I want to tell you thank you so much. And I think that's the beauty about what we do is the networking and the ability for somebody to see something in an individual, tell somebody else, because this is all about word of mouth. And I go back to what I said earlier, authenticity and being genuine and being able to connect. Your story is so inspiring. And I urge people, go beyond the website and go to YouTube and just go to the links on your website to learn more and read more. I saw so much perseverance in your story. It was imperative that I have you immediately as these students graduate from high school or graduate from college. And as they may wonder what the future looks like, they have to understand that it's part of the process and enjoy the moment that you're in. Be where your feet are, but control the controllables. And I think you've done an eloquent job of presenting that. I wish you nothing but the best in your journey in becoming a servant leader and a transformational leader in so many lives. Your story is unreal. I can't wait to tell more people about you. I sincerely appreciate your time today, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it, and really enjoyed our time today.
So friends, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I appreciate you watching another episode of our series in Building the Champion's Mindset. I hope you have a great day, and don't forget, my friends, charge up.